All right. Well, just below where we're talking about the Mormon Derrick and about Althea stabbing a pheasant with a pitchfork, uh, we go down to the bottom picture. Now, this was taken. We went camping. I was 5 months pregnant with my son Eugene, and so Fred and Dad and Alta and Fred and Fern and Dad and Alta and I, and then Fred's hired, Vern Anderson, who was Fred's hired man, all went up hunting close to the Dixie Mountain that was between Vale and Kent, I think, where Fred and Fern were living there. So, but anyway, Alta and I slept in the camper, and everybody else, I don't know where Fern slept. They had their truck and had their bedding and things in that. So,
is that a camper?
Well, Dad's had his camper there, and then I think that was Fred's truck behind there.
Oh, I see. Okay.
But Dad took his pickup and the camper on top of the pickup, so that's where we all stayed. And they went hunting
and there's a horse there.
Well, you know, you have to pack meat out from wherever. And so I'm sure Fred had or maybe Dad had a horse trailer they packed. I don't know. I was there, but I don't remember.
Yeah, it was a while ago. And you had pregnancy fog.
Yes.
So the last picture, that's...
Did we talk about that already?
Not yet.
Oh, okay. Yes, the two men on the end. The one on the right was my grandfather, and the one on the left was his cousin.
And they're Douglases.
Yeah, well, this one was Frank Waters, who was I think Grandpa's mother was his mother. I mean, anyway, they're connected
Douglases.
somehow.
They're
That's
through
in
your
the
mom's
Douglas,
side.
yes. And that's Uncle Bill. The tallest one there is my Uncle Bill. And I think our family inherited height from him because he was quite tall. And Marilyn has, in the book that she wrote, has the fellow in there that tells where we get our long legs from. But Uncle Bill was the tallest in our family at the time. And so I know all the boys in family of Gene and mine and our generation, all are tall. So we wondered, where does the height come from? Well, I think that's the side.
The Douglas side.
Yes.
And the Waters, Frank Waters, is he the father of the Waters that we saw in
Salem? I think probably his son was a dentist, and we just called him Dr. Waters. He was a dentist in Salem. And we had been over to, there was some holiday around, I think. But anyway, you three girls, you and Carol and Denise had their accordions, and Colleen had the violin. And your accordion teacher wrote, silver bells and so that you could play in harmony. And so, you were coming back from Fred and Fern's, who lived in Dallas, Oregon.
Oh, that's right.
And so we'd gone through San. We thought, well, why don't we stop up by the water, Dr. Waters, and you girls can play some. I think it was Christmas time.
I'm pretty sure.
And so we stopped up there, and you girls got out, and I stood in the background. You went up to the front door, and were playing your instruments and Christmas carols and things. And Dr. Waters' wife came out, and she said, she opened the door and saw you playing. She said, just a minute till I get my purse. She didn't know who you were. I don't think. We'd been up before, but I don't think she recognized you all of a sudden. Anyway, but we said no. And so we played for them, and I can't remember if we stayed for a while.
I have memories of
going
inside.
One time we were in their house, and you kids have been raised on linoleum floors. In their house, in this particular room, you children were in while the adults went and played, and it had a big white deep rug on there. And so I thought, well, I better go check on what the children are doing. and you were somersaulting. You just loved that plush rug.
All four of us? Was Eugene there too?
Oh, I'm sure he was. Yes, we never left him home. And anyway, I was a tiny bit embarrassed, but yet you weren't hurting anything. So I told you, you better, stop that. But Mrs. Waters came out and she didn't say anything. You weren't destroying anything, but it was just, it's like Toby's tummy is, so you just want to get in and love it. Mm-hmm.
That's funny. I remember that. I remember it as us looking like we were charity cases, that they did, like, did somebody ring the doorbell? And, because I remember us being in the yard, not close enough to the door.
Yeah.
So somebody else rang the doorbell, and then she opens the door and surprise.
I think I rang the doorbell and got out of sight.
That's what I thought. Okay. Okay. So.
Are you?
Yeah, it should be. I hope I did that. Yeah.
Okay.
So then this photograph on the top are these later?
That's my dad's outfit. And these other men were his cat skinners. They called them cat skinners. They were his helpers that drove cats. And that just kind of explains itself. That's just a picture of him with these cat skinners and out on a job with snow on the ground. That may have been the precursor of the following pages. I'm not sure. But there's snow on the ground. He's out someplace. Then the following picture on the left is of Grandpa Hawkins and his oldest son Charlie and his family that are there, and that's pretty stuff. And Elaine Stringer, I think my family all know who Elaine Stringer is. She is there, and her sister Pearl Helen, and then her parents, and and Ethel's mother is next to my grandfather. So that's pretty.
And so did you, because I know that you were close with Elaine as an adult. Were you close as children?
Well, not too.
Okay.
But see, Elaine had come up, she and Aunt Bertha corresponded, I think, quite a bit together. And Aunt Bertha told her that Marjorie lived in Salem. And Marjorie was a beauty shop inspector. She did inspect the beauty shop. And so they went to visit Marjorie, and Marjorie told them where we lived when they lived in West Lynn at 1060. And so Elaine and Gordon came to visit us, and we just clicked just right off. Gordon and Jean and Elaine, well, we all just really enjoyed one another. And we went over to then to see some airplane. I think Gordon was going to buy one or build one or whatever. Anyway, so we spent many different times. We'd go to visit their home down in Bakersfield, California, and they'd come up here, and so it was fun. So the next one of my mother and joined Fred. Then this is the first pictures are some of Dad's big outfits. He had a D8 Caterpillar and a big U-Haul. This was his land leveling outfits, because this is big D8 and it could haul big loads, so he had a big U-Haul that was outfit, his big outfit. And here below that is subsoiling, and this big equipment on the back would go deep down through hard pan and break up the soil. That was what some people don't know what a subsoiler is if they haven't lived around one. And on the next pages are just more of his outfit. And the bottom picture on that shows, I think there's 3 outfits there.
They're all uncle. I mean, they're all.
Well, my dad had his outfit there. Uncle Fred had his, and then the other one I think was one of the people that worked for Dad or Fred. So they had 3 Caterpillars outfits with carry-all equipment on behind them. So they had to move the neighbors. There was a steep canyon that the school bus. Excuse me while I get a drink. I'm getting hoarse. This was all neighbors and friends that lived back behind where we lived there in Ontario, and so the neighbors back up on the top of those hills. Their children, the school bus would go out there and pick up children. Well, there's one place the parents were just devastated because the school bus had to go down into a fairly steep canyon, and then there was a sharp turn on there, and the parents would stand there and watch to make sure the bus got up the other side and it's still a busload of children. So they got very upset and angry at the county or whoever's in charge, and told them they wanted that fixed immediately, and they wanted Arch Hawkins to do it. They didn't want a government fleet to do it. And so they gave my dad 2 weeks, and of course it was in the fall, and 2 weeks, and hopefully it didn't rain and get all mucked up at the time that they were doing this. This steep grade canyon. Now Grandpa says in there how steep it was. You can read in this. This is the letter that Grandpa wrote to us when Eugene was born. He couldn't come up right away after Gene was born, and he explains in this why he was not able to come, because they just had 2 weeks to get this big fill. It was, I don't remember. You can read on this how deep that fill was, and it tells all about that trip and why he couldn't come to see us when Eugene was born. And there, the next page, it shows how steep a fill that he had to put in there. And then at the bottom picture shows the 3 different outfits that had to move that dirt in 2 weeks.
And from the point of the top of that hill where you can see that piece of equipment down to the very bottom where part of it is covered with snow, that's all fill.
Yes,
he had to
all
bring in.
fill. They had to do that, and they gave him. That's why he has 3 different outfits of my dad's and Fred's, and so
that's a project.
That was a project.